Hi everybody, Andrew Cuneo here. Today I'm going to be trying some Lord of the Rings cards in Historic. Namely the One Ring, which is gotten to be extremely popular in the Alchemy I've played, where it's very common for people to put the One Ring into play and then to also play Sheoldred with it. So I'm going to try doing that in Historic. And then I'm also going to try playing Delighted Halfling in Historic to cast legendary spells, namely Crucias, which I don't know why this card continues to exist in the form it does, but if you're trying to win, you should probably try to play 4 copies of Crucias in your Historic and Alchemy decks. Also for Jarsyls, this is a card that, this whole deck is based loosely off of a previous Historic deck that was, Jund mid-range with 4 Jarsyls, 4 Cruciases. So Jarsyl's asking you to play a mix of 1 and 2 mana cards. Basically, you can eventually get Jarsyl up to 3, but you don't usually need to have that happen in a game. So I've got a lot of things at 1 mana, then some removal spells at 2 mana. I'm also trying Orcish Bowmasters. I'm not sure if this is going to be good or not in Historic. In the past, people played Tarmogoyfs as their 2 mana card of preference in the style of deck, but I want to try Bowmasters to see if it's better. It is really good against Esper Sentinel, which is a somewhat popular card in Historic, and that is nice to be good against. That kind of does it for the new cards. I guess, actually I lied. There's 1 copy of Mountain Doom, which is a dual land. It gives you a way to get rid of the One Ring. It takes a lot of mana to do that, though, so that's not going to come up very often. But I'm playing it over a Blood Crypt, so it's reasonably close to a Blood Crypt. It's probably worth playing over a Blood Crypt. The weird thing about the One Ring is that, if in the lore of Lord of the Rings, there's only 1 ring, and, or there's only one of the One Ring. But it turns out the best way to play with the One Ring is generally to play more than 1 copy of it, so that you can get the burden counters up high, draw a bunch of cards, and then just play a new copy of the One Ring to reset the burden counters if you want to keep drawing cards. The best way to manage the burden counters is definitely Sheoldred, though. Sideboard, no new cards. This is just a mix of really just removal spells and some Duresses. So you can tailor your removal to whatever your opponent happens to be doing. This is kind of a typical thing to do in a Jund-style mid-range deck, where you're going to maybe suffer a little bit in game 1 where you don't have the perfect mix of removal spells, but when you get to games 2 and 3, you're just going to have the right removal spells for whatever threat your opponent's presenting, and that's kind of why Jund mid-range has traditionally been a pretty good deck in Magic. That said, let's jump into some games. Oh, on the play. Excellent. 1 lander, but I have a Delighted Halfling I'm going to keep. I'm going to be optimistic and play the Delighted Halfling on turn 1. Optimistic in the sense that if I draw a 3rd land, it'll mean I can play either Crucias or Bowmasters plus Thoughtseize, or I guess Molten Impact plus Thoughtseize. Possibly. That would require me drawing a red land. All of these things require me drawing a land, but I'm feeling optimistic. My opponent's not feeling optimistic. They're not feeling anything at all. They're just doing nothing. Halfling down. What else you got over there? Whoa, they have Crucias in their deck? You're kidding me. You're absolutely kidding me. Why do they have the Balrog in their deck? That's kind of weird. I guess I can Bowmaster the Simulator. I think I'm actually going to take Seasoned Pyromancer over Crucias. Well, I guess the Seasoned Pyromancer's pretty bad against the Bowmasters. Maybe that was a mistake. Out of my way, Crucias. I didn't see, did they say ambitious or expedient when they discarded the Balrog? They have to have said expedient, right? Crucias coming back again. I'm not going to do anything about this assimilator. Oh, the hit Bowmasters around. Because I have Molten Impact on one. Jarsyl has been defeated. Fable the Mirror Breaker. This isn't going great. I'm wishing I had more lands. So I still have Thoughtseize and a Molten Impact. And they're on Crucias. Is the One Ring going to rule them all? Probably. I don't have very good targets to copy with the Reflection of Keep each of the every moment. Sheoldred of the Realm. I have the One Ring of the Realm as well. Okay. So they're just playing my deck without green. Or I'm playing their deck with green. This is Molten Impact that they drew? I think so. So I can Fatal Push my own guy out of the graveyard, right? Oh wait, I didn't have another Fatal Push. Okay, it's not good. So if I activate the One Ring on their turn, their triggers go on the stack first, mine go on top. Fine. That turns on my Fatal Push. This is so silly. It really shouldn't exist the way that it does. So if they don't have a Sheoldred of their own or a way to get rid of my Sheoldred, they're not going to be happy. We do have all these treasures, so if they just find a Fatal Push, it'll be kind of bad for me. They would have done it already, though, on their turn. Or they should have, at least. So the coast should be clear for this. Alright, that was fun. That was an experience. So Sheoldred's Edicts probably aren't the best. I think I want to Abrade. You can use Tear Asunder to destroy their One Ring. Maybe that's good. I probably want another Fatal Push, maybe over an Inquisition. It's because keeping Sheoldred off the board is so important. Teferi Hero Dominaria was already kind of a mediocre card in Historic, and I think that if people are actually going to start playing the Bowmasters a lot, it's just really going to be kind of hopeless to play with going forward. My Bowmasters have been defeated. Probably my Crucias is being defeated. I think I'm going to want to be able to play Abrade on whatever they do on their turn. No, turns out, no. Alright. Is it possible I should hold this Abrade? If I draw Bowmaster, they're still going to play an Assimilator next turn, almost definitely. So if I drew a Bowmaster, I would be happy to just wait and play it. But instead, I draw Crucias. I think I need to discard this and just say Expedient. I want to find the One Ring. Bowmasters is also a pretty good thing to find. I think that this card, I was never sold that it was worth playing to begin with, but it's another card. You can't put this in your deck if people are going to be playing Orcish Bowmasters. It's just, it's too bad to have this happen to you. Sorry, opponent. Now I'm feeling ambitious. I'll keep another one-lander. I'm greedy. Mulliganing in formats where you're likely to play Thoughtseize mirrors is not a great way to go. This was certainly a marginal hand. There are matchups I could have gotten where it would have been something I would have been happy to mulligan. But against another black deck, I think that it's a pretty good keep. Crucias is going to be a problem. And I'm going to have to pitch this Delighted Halfling. See what I think, because otherwise it just gets Bone Crusher Gianted, and that's no good for me. It's not going to work for me. Alright, this hasn't been the series of draw steps I was hoping for when I kept. Drawing 3 4-drops was not ideal. So I don't know that they have the One Ring and Sheoldred, so I don't know that I should sideboard for that. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. Probably in Historic right now, your main deck should just be mostly configured to play against Crucias decks. So it's not that weird that I'm not sideboarding. I guess the one thing I could do is I could cut Molten Impact for Fatal Push. Oh, they have Blood Tithe Harvester, interesting. I'm feeling ambitious. Yet again, I'm going to be feeling ambitious. Oh, that wasn't what I wanted. I wanted Fatal Push. What I really wanted was just something that was going to brick their Inquisition. Didn't happen, though. Come on, Fatal Push. Would really like to find Fatal Push. So I can't discard the Delighted Halfling to get Fatal Push. It has to be the One Ring or the Bowmasters. That's not the worst. Can't imagine they're going to sack their Crucias, but maybe they are. Wait, why did they concede? Oh, I timed that wrong. I should have just played the Bowmasters, pinged the Crucias. And then when they invoke Despair Resolved, keep the Bowmasters, ping the Crucias 2 more times. Then I can Sheoldred's Edict the Sheoldred, and I'm winning very easily. And I'm not relying on my opponent randomly conceding. I guess this hand is too bad to keep. I think they mulliganed as well. They did. Come on, the One Ring. Looking for one ring, please. Or Crucias. Crucias would also play. Going to kill the token, I think, with Fatal Push. And I'm going to play the Bowmasters, which the Bowmasters will constrain somewhat their ability to lose with the able of the Mirror Breaker. Really, I'm just hoping I draw a spell for my turn. Yes, well, it's not actually that good of one, because they have the Hearse in play. Still gonna cast it though. 3/3 beater. I'm not too proud to play a 3/3 for 3. I'm going to hold this land just in case I draw Crucias. If I draw the One Ring or Sheoldred, I can play them with the Delighted Halfling. Sheoldred. Don't have Sheoldred, please. So I guess that was the reason I should have played my land. It's only 3 cards in their yard, though. Starting to sense I've got some problems. Because they can use the Reflection of Kiki Jiki to crew the hearse. So I can't really attack anymore. And there's 4 cards in the line. Why are they doing this on their own turn? I guess it's hedging against me top decking a Bowmaster and having double Bowmasters. I don't know. It's bad because if I draw like Thoughtseize or Inquisition, I just get to take whatever they just drew up for themselves, which isn't ideal for them, I would think. I'm ready to draw the One Ring. I'm more than ready. Sheoldred would also probably be pretty good. Them drawing a Sheoldred is not good for me. That's not good for my health. This person's a Gigantha gamer, meaning they don't have Sheoldred. They also nullified. What kind of deck would have Balligan recovery? Oh, it's a Kethis deck. People love this Kethis deck. I've never ever seen it be good. Maybe never ever is an exaggeration. There might have been a period when it was standard legal that it was good. For the most part, I think it's just always been pretty bad, though. That said... Oh, it's not Kethis, it's Paradox Engine. Paradox Engine is at least cooler. But I think Paradox Engine also can't top deck to beat me. The Kethis deck, at least, once you have a pretty big graveyard, if you ever draw Kethis off the top of your deck, you have some ability to start doing stuff. This deck does not possess that. We're just gonna start giving them the Sheoldred experience. So I think that they're some sort of Paradox Engine combo, which does not rely on the graveyard as heavily as Kethis does. But they still have Emeries in their deck, so I probably still want Graveyard Hate. I don't know if I want this Fade into Fade from History card. Ray of Enfeeblement's good against Kethis. It's not good against not Kethis, though. I do think I want my Fatal Pushes, though, because they hit Kinnan. Cards I don't want. Minsc and Boo. Sheoldred's Edict. I'm going to trim a Jarsyl, a One Ring. Is it possible I don't want the Delighted Halflings in this matchup? Maybe. I'll trim 2 of them. What do you got over there, opponent? Do not have any green mana. Oh, this is a mana. This is a mana ability, so you can't respond to it. That's what just happened there. That's kind of cool. I think that's how that worked. Or is that how Chromatic Star works? I'm not sure. I'm sure that I wasn't given an option to respond to it, but that might have been a weird arena timing thing. My opponent didn't want to fight anymore. Please live, Delighted Halfling. I'm going to need you for colored mana purposes. I was kind of thinking after playing a bunch of those red-black mirrors that Delighted Halfling actually isn't probably good in this deck. Just because to play in red-black mirrors, you want high impact cards more than you want mana ramp. You really only want mana ramp when you're playing against people who are playing faster decks. Fun. No. Like, if I wasn't playing Delighted Halfling, I wouldn't have to be playing... well, I wouldn't be playing green, because I think Jarsyl also isn't really all that stellar. Which would mean that I could play better lands. Like, I wouldn't have to play all these red-green duels. I could play more value lands, which I think would be nice. Seems fairly doomed. As soon as they find a card that kills Sheoldred, I am cooked. I'm going to use the One Ring right now because I think if they have a Thoughtseize in their hand, they would take Sheoldred. So if I draw a land, I might want to play it. I didn't draw land, spoiler alert. We got them down to 9. And they're attacking me when I'm under the effects of the One Ring. So that's fun. Whoa, they just discarded a Fatal Push? Does that make sense, opponent? Kind of feel like it doesn't. It does make me feel like they just have another Fatal Push in their hand. But I'm going to wait for them to cast it here. They're going to Fatal Push off of the treasure. And I'll at least get to gain 4 life in response. Ooh. A Delighted Halfling died too. It's not like that guy was going to do much anyway, though. No, another Sheoldred. Ugh. I'm sure I buy the Molten Impact is the way people's probably playing. Being able to kill Crucias at instant speed is just so important. I'm pretty certain that Sheoldred's Edict is not the right removal spell to be playing either. I think I should just be playing Heartless Acts. Let's try a sideboard plan where I'm just taking out Delighted Halfling if I think it's bad in this matchup. With the understanding that if it's bad in this matchup, I probably shouldn't have it in my... I shouldn't build my deck based around it. Like I could have more Inquisitions in my deck if I didn't have the Delighted Halflings too. I think I'll just play more Duresses though. Yeah, my deck could be built a lot better for this matchup. Opponent mold to 5. I hate it. Absolutely hate it. Also, don't play with Liliana of the Veil if you're playing against people you know have Orcish Bowmasters in the deck. That just doesn't make any sense at all. Bang. Go for another land. Actually, just going to dig for a land. Expedient. The Molten Impact is a little bit annoying in that they do have a 3-ball left over, so they can kill the Crucias. They didn't do that right. They should have been able to do it so they had a 3-ball left over, not a 1-ball. I'm gonna lead on the Sheoldred. They're under a very fast clock. And then I might Fatal Push the Bowmasters in a turn or two if I want to get the 1 ring going. Probably I'm not going to need it unless they top deck a removal spell here. That's not a removal spell. I'm just going to get the Blood Harvester out of the way so I can attack with Crucias. They're at such a low life total. They definitely should have chump blocked last turn. Oh no, it's the return of Liana. You've killed my Crucias.
I've come
On it.
answers.
You've killed my
Haven't
Crucias.
you ever heard of personal space?
I guess if they drew Cling to Darkness here, if they had Cling to Darkness, I think they would die if that one was Cling to Darkness. I'm not going to shock to put the Overgrown Tomb into play, given that I drew the Darkbore Pathway. I think that it's fine to play it tapped. I just don't think that I'm that likely to draw a 2-mana card I want to play. If they have Crucias in their hand, I'm going to feel really sad this isn't an Inquisition. And it's kind of terrible. Next turn I'll be able to Jarsyl Duress the Chandra, and they'll feel bad that they have all these Molten Impacts in their deck instead of Instant Speed removal. Molten Impact is a really, really good card, but not when you want to be able to kill a 3/3 at instant speed. What in the world? What's this one doing? You better use that blood to get rid of Feed the Swarm, because I don't know what's going on there. I guess they just don't have enough removal for Sheoldreds with the way they've constructed their deck. I think rather than playing a Crucias, I know it's going to die in 1 turn. I'm going to start getting some cards off the 1 ring. I no longer know my Crucias is going to die in 1 turn because they just use their blood to get rid of Molten Impact. Oh, black land. This maybe wasn't the smartest way to play this. I kind of gambled that I was going to find a black land. Oh, I forgot that that was going to happen. It wasn't my best play. There's another issue with the way my deck is constructed that I just don't have that many 2-mana cards to go with Jarsyl. Alright, they're done. They didn't fight on. Alright, so what did I learn? I don't think that the green was worth it. I thought that my opponents that were playing just straight red-black generally had better decks than I did. The Delighted Halfling, I think, would be a good card in a deck like this if you weren't playing a ton of mirrors. If you're playing a ton of mirrors, like ramping when you're playing against somebody who's just playing a bunch of Thoughtseizes, Inquisitions, and removal spells that kill the things you ramp into, the ramp doesn't really help you enough. So this card's definitely not worth it if you expect to play against a lot of red-black mirrors. Jarsyl is a good card. It's maybe not... My deck isn't optimized for it, but if you look at the red-black decks I played against, they had like plenty of good other options. At 3 mana, whether it be Fable the Mirror Breaker or Seasoned Pyromancer. One person even had Lelia, which I think Lelia is worse than the first two I named, but you could easily swap these for Fable the Mirror Breaker or Seasoned Pyromancer. I think it kind of depends on how popular Orcish Bowmasters are. Because I think Orcish Bowmasters probably make Seasoned Pyromancer kind of bad. A-Minsc and Boo obviously would be good against red-black decks, but again, you could just have like Invoke Despair in your deck. Or honestly, you could just have a 4th Sheoldred and just have max Sheoldred and the One Rings if you wanted to. This is certainly not a reason to play green. And then once you ditch green, you don't have to play all of these dual lands. You can play some other red-black dual lands. You can also play some creature lands like Hive of the Eye Tyrant or... My opponents had Castle Lochthwain in their deck. I probably wouldn't play that one just because it's hard to get enough actual swamps. Like you could play Takenuma. You could play Sukenzen maybe. You would certainly play 4 Blackcleave Cliffs. You could play the red-black Pathway. The 2-mana removal spells, I think you want to play 2-mana removal spells that are instants that kill Crucias and Sheoldred. So that's cards like Heartless Act does it. Usually you don't want to play Go for the Throat in Historic because people do play a lot of artifact creatures. You can play against like a blue-white deck that's just all artifact creatures. So I wouldn't put Go for the Throat in my main deck. I think I would just start with Heartless Acts. You could play Infernal Grasp, but I wouldn't play more than one copy of that just because the loss of life is kind of annoying in a deck with Thoughtseize and the One Ring. Certainly 4th Fatal Push would be something you'd want to play. So yeah, this is this deck. I think the core of playing with Thoughtseize, Fatal Push, Crucias, Sheoldred, the One Ring is obviously great, and you can't really want it with too bad of a deck if you include a third color and build around it like that, but I think you're going to be best off if you just play straight red-black. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.